The early morning sunlight filtered through the tall glass windows of Next News, spilling onto the polished hardwood floors of Studio B like golden syrup. It was supposed to be a routine segment, another Wednesday feature with a rising entrepreneur, a mild-mannered Q&A, and some feel-good fluff for midweek morale. But nothing about what was about to unfold would be routine. Behind the scenes, whispers already tangled in the air like smoke. Something was off. Something unexplained. It had been since the moment she walked in. Her name was Ariel Monroe, and she walked like a storm in heels, measured, powerful, and impossible to ignore. Her mocha skin glistened with grace under the studio lights, and her eyes, sharp as razors, missed nothing. A former Ivy League graduate turned founder of the booming lifestyle brand. Rooted soul. Ariel was used to entering spaces that weren't built for her, and owning them anyway. Her business was built on ancestral healing, luxury skincare, and something deeper, a spiritual legacy tied to her grandmother's whispered remedies and a family mystery. Ariel still hadn't entirely solved. What she didn't know was that her appearance on this show would unearth not only dark secrets from her past, but from someone else's too. Across from her, behind the anchor desk, sat Cameron Slate, the kind of host whose smile didn't quite reach his eyes. He was all charm and veneers, the face of mid-America journalism, beloved by sponsors and feared by interns. His brand was built on control, clean interviews, predictable guests, and hidden jabs dressed as polite banter. But lately, Cameron had been unraveling. Ratings were slipping, and the arrival of powerful black women like Ariel, commanding space and attention on his set, made something dangerous flicker just beneath his carefully curated facade. As the countdown to live airtime began, producers buzzed through earpieces, sipping their coffees a little faster than usual. Ariel sat still in her chair, but inside, her pulse whispered a warning. Maybe it was the glint in Cameron's eyes when he greeted her. Maybe it was the sudden static in her mic. Or maybe it was the photograph she'd found slipped between pages of her prep notes. An old, yellowed snapshot of a woman who looked just like her. Except the photo was from 1958, and the woman was standing in front of this very building, long before Ariel had ever set foot here. That woman was her grandmother, Rosa. But how did this studio, how did Cameron have that photo? The segment began like any other. Polite greetings, smiles on cue. Ariel answered questions about her business, her brand, her mission to connect people with their roots. But then, out of nowhere, Cameron's tone shifted. His questions turned pointed, aggressive. He smirked when he asked about how someone, like you, got your funding. He cut her off mid-sentence. He waved off her responses with condescending nods. And then he said it. That word. That one word wrapped in sugar, soaked in venom. The air left the studio. The crew froze. Ariel's eyes narrowed, her ancestors roaring in her blood. What happened next wasn't in the script, not in the producer's outline, not in Cameron's. Smug little cue cards. Because Ariel didn't shrink, she didn't flinch. She leaned forward, her voice low and lethal, and unleashed a clapback so swift, so blistering, so grounded in centuries of wisdom and fire. It would send shockwaves across every platform within hours. It wasn't just a rebuttal. It was a reckoning. But what no one saw coming, not even Ariel, was what the camera caught seconds later. The background monitor glitching, the words "rooted soul" flickering into "rooted sin." And the image of her grandmother, alive, moving, mouthing something silently through the screen, though she'd died nearly 30 years ago. Producers screamed. The feed cut out. The network went black for 7 full minutes. No one has explained what happened during that blackout. The clip of Ariel's response would go viral. Millions would cheer. But others, those who watched closely, would ask the real questions. Why was that photo hidden in her prep notes? What really happened in this building in 1958? And why does Ariel keep dreaming of a locked door behind Cameron's desk? A door that doesn't show up on the studio blueprints. The truth isn't just about a racist host and a viral moment. It's about the secret they tried to bury underneath the floorboards of history, and someone, something, is ready to bring it back. Are you? The silence in Studio B was a living thing, thick, breathless, humming with static. Lights still burned bright overhead, cameras frozen in mid-focus, but no one moved. Not the floor manager, not the techs, not even Cameron Slate, who stared blankly at the now black monitor behind them, his perfectly coiffed hair suddenly slick with sweat. 7 minutes of dead air. 7 minutes where time seemed to bend, shiver, and stop. Ariel Monroe remained, seated, her hands still folded neatly in her lap, but her mind was spinning. Rooted sin. That wasn't just a glitch. It was a warning, or maybe a key, and the image of her grandmother, alive, moving, whispering something behind the screen, it haunted her in a way she couldn't explain. Rosa Monroe had died in 1996, buried beneath a weeping willow in Mississippi. But Ariel had always believed her grandmother carried unfinished business, the kind that leaves footprints across generations. And now, whatever secrets Rosa had kept buried in their family's dark past were clawing their way back to the surface, on national television. Cameron blinked first. We're having some, technical difficulties, folks, he stammered, the camera rolling again, though the viewers had already seen far more than the network intended. His smile was gone now. His hands trembled as he shuffled his cue cards, each motion more desperate than the last. But Ariel didn't let him recover. She stood, slow and commanding, her voice calm but electric with something older than rage. What? Did you just show me? She asked, not bothering to look into the camera anymore. Her focus was razor-locked on Cameron. Where did you get that photo of my grandmother? Cameron's throat bobbed. I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe a producer. Maybe it was part of your PR packet. She took a step forward, now only inches from his chair. I brought my own packet. I wrote my own intro. That photo, you planted it. And that image on the screen. That was real, Cameron. You saw it. Everyone saw it. From the control booth, a voice finally cut in through the silence. Ariel, Cameron, we're going to cut to commercial, all right? We need to reset. Too late. The moment had shattered the show's glossy illusion, and something far more dangerous had crept into its place. Backstage, in the dim hallway between Studio B and the editing suite, Ariel was intercepted by a woman in her mid-40s with short blonde hair, no makeup, and eyes like a hawk behind oversized glasses. Ariel, she said urgently, I'm Jenna Carson. Senior editor here. Please, 5 minutes, that's all I ask. Ariel studied her warily. Are you the one who put the photo in my notes? Jenna shook her head. No, but I've seen that image before. Years ago, in the station's archives. Ariel's breath caught. My grandmother, Jenna nodded, come with me. Down a back corridor, away from the blinking lights and the post-show scramble, Jenna led Ariel into an old archive room, the kind of place that still smelled of paper and damp wood. Boxes stacked high, labeled by year, VHS tapes, folders, reel-to-reel audio. Cameron doesn't like people coming in here, Jenna whispered. He says it's dead weight, but something's wrong with this place, Ariel. I started noticing weird things years ago. Tapes being erased, old footage, missing, rooms getting cold for no reason. And then this. She pulled out a dusty manila envelope. Inside was the same photo. Rosa Monroe, standing tall and proud outside Next News, except the station didn't air its first broadcast until 1960, and the photo was dated 1958. There's more, Jenna added. She laid out 3 more photos, all different women, all black, all elegantly dressed, all standing in the exact same spot, and each one dated 2 years before. The station supposedly opened. Ariel's voice dropped to a whisper. Why? Jenna hesitated. I think they came here looking for something or someone, and I think they were silenced. Outside the room, heavy footsteps echoed in the hallway. Ariel stiffened. Jenna's eyes darted to the door. That's She mouthed. Cameron. Ariel snatched the photo and slid it into her purse. Why would he hide this? Jenna didn't answer, but she opened a drawer and pulled out an old ID badge. Rosa Monroe's. A WENEX staff credential from 1957. Your grandmother didn't just visit this place, she whispered. She worked here, but her name was scrubbed. From the records, something icy crawled up Ariel's spine. Her grandmother had always told stories of a place where truth didn't need permission. She thought it was metaphor, but maybe it was literal. Maybe Rosa had come here to expose something, and maybe Cameron's family or someone close to him had made sure that truth never made it to air. Suddenly the lights flickered. A low hum filled the room like a generator groaning awake, and then, thud. Something slammed behind the far wall. Not from the hallway, from inside. Jenna froze. That wall leads to Studio B, she said. But there's no door back there, just concrete. The hum grew louder. Ariel stepped forward, heart pounding. Unless it was sealed up. A new mystery had taken hold. Not just a family drama or a racist encounter gone viral, but something bigger, something buried. A place that held the stories of women like Rosa, erased from history. And now, thanks to an unplanned glitch, a haunted screen, and a network, host with hidden secrets. Those stories were clawing their way back into the light. Ariel turned back to Jenna. How deep does this go? Jenna hesitated, then slowly said, All I know is this, Cameron Slate's father was the original station owner, and he died in this building, right behind that wall. A beat of silence. Ariel narrowed her eyes. What's buried in this? Studio? And why is my grandmother trying to show it to me now? The lights cut out completely, and the only thing left was a whisper. Not from Jenna, not from the hallway, but from inside the wall. Ariel, don't let them bury you. 2. The room was plunged into darkness, but Ariel's senses were sharper than ever. The whisper echoed in her mind, sending chills down her spine. Don't let them bury you, too. She reached for her phone, flicking on the flashlight, its beam trembling slightly as Jenna's breath hitched beside her. They were no longer just chasing hidden secrets. Now, danger lurked in every shadow, turning this investigation into a fight for survival. Suddenly, the wall before them shuddered, as if something beneath was struggling to break free. Ariel's heart hammered. Jenna, what is that? Jenna's voice was strained. I don't know, but whatever's behind this wall isn't just history. It's something alive, something angry. A scrape echoed from the concrete like nails on a chalkboard, followed by a low growl that seemed almost human. Ariel stepped back, gripping her purse tighter, the photo of her grandmother burning in her palm. This is no ordinary mystery. Something's protecting these secrets, or maybe it's haunting this place. Then, unexpectedly, the emergency lights flickered on, bathing the room in an eerie red glow. The oppressive silence was shattered by a sudden burst of static from Ariel's phone. A message popped up. Unknown caller. Against her better judgment, she answered. A distorted voice hissed through the line. Stop digging, Monroe. Some truths are meant to stay buried. Ariel's breath caught. Who is this? What do you want? The line went dead. Jenna exchanged a worried look. This just got a whole lot darker. As if to underline her words, a door slammed somewhere far down the hall, followed by hurried footsteps retreating into the shadows. The two women exchanged no further words but knew the stakes had just doubled. The mystery deepened that night. But Ariel couldn't shake the feeling that the answer lay not only in the studio's cold walls, but in her own family drama. Back home, her phone buzzed with notifications, tweets and videos of her viral Clapback flooding social media. While millions cheered her courage, darker comments hinted at something deeper, more personal. Suddenly, her phone lit up with a new message from an unknown number. Your grandmother's story isn't over. Meet me at 11 p.m., 2219 Magnolia Ave. Ariel's fingers trembled. Was this a trap? or a shocking revelation waiting to unfold. She knew one thing: she couldn't run. Not now. Not when the past was clawing so fiercely into the present. That night, wrapped in a trench coat and armed with nothing but determination, Ariel arrived at the old Magnolia house, a dilapidated, Victorian mansion shadowed by gnarled trees. The air was thick with tension and something else, something unexplainable. The front door creaked open before she could knock. Inside, a figure stepped out of the shadows, a tall man with salt and pepper, hair and eyes that burned with weary knowledge. "I'm Elijah," he said quietly, "Rosa Monroe's closest friend, and the keeper of truths no one wants to hear." Ariel's heart raced. "Why did you want to see me?" Elijah's gaze darkened. "Because your grandmother didn't just work at that station. She uncovered a conspiracy, one that's been buried under layers of lies and silence. And now those who buried it are coming for you." Before she could respond, the room's temperature plummeted. A whisper brushed past her ear. "Beware the shadows, they remember." Elijah's eyes flicked toward the hallway. "You're not alone in this house." Suddenly, a spectral figure emerged, a woman in vintage clothing, translucent and shimmering. "Rosa Monroe. Ariel." The apparition's voice was both a comfort and a warning. "They tried to silence me. Don't let history repeat itself." Tears welled in Ariel's eyes. The emotional turmoil of uncovering shocking revelations about her own lineage overwhelmed her. Elijah stepped closer, steadying her. "The mystery deepens, but you have power in your blood. Your grandmother's legacy is your weapon." Just then, a loud crash upstairs jolted them both. "Danger lurks in every corner," Elijah whispered, "and time is running out." Ariel squared her shoulders. "Then let's find out what they're hiding before it's too late." As footsteps approached from the shadows, the air thickened with tension. The past and present collided in a terrifying dance, one where every secret uncovered only led to darker, deeper truths. And somewhere beyond the veil of this unfolding mystery, a question hung heavy. Who will survive when the darkness claims what's been buried for generations? The midnight air pressed heavy against Ariel's skin as she stood in the flickering glow of the old mansion's parlor. The walls, swollen with years of hidden stories, seemed to close in, whispering in the dark, a haunting chorus of dark secrets uncovered long before her time. The storm outside battered the windows, each gust a reminder that the past refused to stay buried, and the present teetered on the edge of collapse. Elijah's steady presence was both an anchor and a puzzle. He had called her here with promises of truth, but the weight of unexpected betrayal was already beginning to settle between them. His face, lined with years of knowledge and sorrow, flickered in the candlelight. "Ariel, you must understand. Your grandmother wasn't just a whistleblower. She was part of something much larger, something nobody dared to speak about." Before Ariel could reply, the ancient grandfather clock chimed, a chilling sound that echoed like a warning through the house. The air thickened, the shadows stretching long and sinister, swallowing the corners of the room whole. A sudden draft snuffed out the candlelight, plunging them into near-complete darkness. Ariel's breath hitched. "Elijah, what are you hiding?" He hesitated, then stepped forward, voice low and urgent. "The family you thought you knew. It's a lie. Your grandmother's closest allies were not all friends. A sharp noise interrupted him. The floorboard creaked behind them. They both spun around, the beam from Ariel's phone. Slicing through the blackness, from the shadows emerged a figure, tall, imposing. The man's smile was cold, razor sharp. "Surprised to see me, Ariel." His voice was familiar. Too familiar. Elijah's eyes narrowed. "No, it can't be." The figure stepped fully into the light, revealing a face Ariel never expected to see again. Her estranged uncle, Marcus Monroe, the family member who vanished without a trace years ago, leaving behind whispers of family drama and hidden secrets that had fractured the Monroes forever. "I should have known," Ariel whispered, stunned. "You're behind all this." Marcus's smile twisted into something cruel. Behind it? Sweetheart, I'm the reason your grandmother had to be silenced, and now it's your turn. The room seemed to shrink as the tension skyrocketed. The air was electric, thick with high tension and unspoken threats. Ariel's heart pounded wildly, caught between shock and betrayal. How could the man she'd once trusted harbor such darkness? Elijah moved protectively beside her. Marcus, this ends tonight. Marcus laughed, a hollow, chilling sound. You're naive, Elijah. This is just the beginning. The truth you seek is darker than you think. The family mystery you're desperate to solve? It's soaked in blood and lies. Suddenly, the floor beneath them trembled, as if the house itself was awakening, alive with the weight of the past. The walls whispered warnings, and unseen eyes seemed to watch from the shadows. Ariel clenched her fists. What do you want from me? Marcus's eyes gleamed dangerously. Your loyalty or your silence. Choose wisely, because the next move could cost you everything. Just then, the mansion's ancient doors slammed shut with a thunderous bang, sealing them inside. The flickering lights cast long, monstrous shadows that seemed to reach out and suffocate the room. The moment stretched, a cliffhanger moment, suspended in time, where every breath felt like a countdown. Who could Ariel trust when the very blood she carried was tangled in dark secrets and unexpected betrayal? And what price would she pay to uncover the truth before the shadows consumed them all? The heavy silence that followed Marcus's chilling ultimatum hung in the air like a thick fog, suffocating and relentless. Ariel's mind raced, the pieces of her shattered reality tumbling over each other in dizzying chaos. How could her own blood betray her so deeply? Her heartbeat pounded in her ears, echoing the rising tension that gripped the ancient mansion. Elijah stepped forward, his voice calm but edged with steel. We're not giving him what he wants, Ariel. This family's past may be dark, but we can't let it define our future. Ariel swallowed hard, the emotional conflict twisting inside her like a storm. But how? How do we fight when the enemy is someone who should have been family? Marcus's sneer cut through the room. Fight all you want, but the deeper you dig, the more danger grows. For you, for everyone you care about. Outside, the storm's fury intensified, rain lashing against the windows like nature itself was warning them to stop. The mansion groaned under the weight of time and secrets, its creaking timbers whispering warnings as if alive. Suddenly, the lights flickered back on, revealing the once grand parlor now eerily transformed. Symbols, ancient and cryptic, were scrawled across the walls in what looked like dried blood. A chill ran down Ariel's spine. This was no longer just a family drama. It was a dark puzzle, a maze of mystery unraveling piece by piece, pulling them into something far more sinister. Jenna, who had arrived earlier and had been silently observing, stepped forward, her usual confident demeanor replaced by cautious curiosity. What are those symbols, some kind of warning? Elijah nodded grimly. They're old rites meant to protect or perhaps to curse. Your grandmother stumbled into something ancient, Ariel, something that transcends simple betrayal. Ariel's eyes darted to the door, now firmly locked, the heavy iron bars across the windows seeming like a cage. We're trapped, Marcus laughed, a dark, mirthless sound. Trapped? No, you're exactly where you need to be, forced to confront the truth. But be warned, the deeper you go, the more your own demons will surface. Emotions clashed fiercely within Ariel. The betrayal, the fear, the burning need to uncover the truth. Yet, beneath it all, a fierce resolve took root. She refused to be a victim of hidden secrets any longer. We start now, Ariel declared, voice steady despite the storm inside her. No matter the cost. Jenna pulled out her flashlight, sweeping the room. Then let's find a way through this labyrinth of lies. As they moved deeper into the mansion's shadowed corridors, whispers seemed to follow, their voices mingling. With the storm's howl, every step echoed with rising tension. The weight of unseen eyes watching, waiting. Suddenly a door creaked open ahead, revealing a hidden study lined with dusty books and faded photographs. On the desk lay a weathered journal, Rosa Monroe's handwriting etched across the cover. Ariel's hands trembled as she opened it, revealing entries filled with desperation and warning, clues to the mystery unraveling, but also hints of forces beyond comprehension. Her voice barely a whisper, she read aloud. They're not just after the truth. They want to erase us, every last one. The room seemed to pulse with energy, shadows flickering unnaturally. Elijah's eyes narrowed. We're not just chasing history. We're caught in a battle that's been raging for decades. With the mansion's secrets unfolding before them, Ariel knew one thing. Every revelation brought them closer to the heart of darkness and the danger that now grows with every passing moment. The question wasn't if they would survive. The night, it was whether the truth was worth the cost. The air crackled with electricity as Ariel, Elijah, and Jenna navigated the mansion's winding hallways, each step heavier than the last. The storm outside had transformed into a tempest, thunder roaring like the voice of the past itself demanding reckoning. The danger reached its peak. Every creak, every shadow, every whispered secret propelling them toward the final showdown. They could no longer avoid. Marcus was nowhere to be seen, but his presence was felt in every corner, every chilling breath of wind that swept through the ancient walls. They had discovered Rosa's journal, a map to the ultimate truth, yet also a warning. The family's dark past was entwined with a power beyond understanding, something Marcus sought to control for his own twisted ends. We have to stop him before he unleashes whatever's locked away here, Ariel said, determination sharpening her tone. Before more lives are destroyed. Jenna glanced at her, eyes bright with fear and resolve. But how? The house itself seems alive. It's like it's fighting us. Elijah held up a small, ornate key they had found tucked inside the journal. This opens the chamber beneath the house, where the truth lies buried. The trio descended into the cold, damp basement, shadows flickering wildly against the stone walls. Their footsteps echoed like the ticking of a time bomb, the weight of the unfolding mystery pressing down hard. At the end of the corridor stood a heavy iron door, etched with the same cryptic symbols that had haunted the parlor. With a deep breath, Ariel slid the key into the lock. The door groaned open, revealing a cavernous chamber lined with relics and ancient artifacts. At its center was a pedestal holding a small, glowing orb, pulsing with a strange light. An artifact Rosa had written about as the source of their family's curse and salvation. Suddenly Marcus appeared, blocking their path, his eyes gleaming with madness and greed. You don't understand what this power means. With it, I can control fate itself. Ariel stepped forward, her voice steady despite the racing chaos inside. You're wrong. Power without heart destroys everything it touches. We're here to end this. The room exploded into chaos. Marcus lunged, but Elijah intercepted him. Their struggle fierce and desperate. Jenna moved swiftly, reaching for the orb, but a surge of energy shot from it, knocking her back. Ariel's heart hammered as she saw Marcus gain the upper hand. Time slowed. Every breath, every heartbeat magnified into a moment of high tension. And emotional climax. Summoning all her courage, Ariel grabbed a shard of broken glass and plunged it into the orb. The chamber shuddered violently as the light exploded in a blinding flash, casting them all into darkness. When the light faded, Marcus lay unconscious, the orb cracked and powerless. The oppressive weight lifted as the mansion seemed to sigh, the shadows retreating. Elijah helped Ariel to her feet, relief flooding his eyes. It's over. Jenna smiled weakly, wiping sweat from her brow. We did it together. Outside, dawn broke, casting golden light over a mansion that no longer held its prisoners captive. Ariel stepped into the fresh morning air. The storm finally passed, but its lessons forever etched in her soul. The ordeal had changed them all. Ariel's strength had blossomed from pain and betrayal into a fierce resolve to reclaim her family's legacy, not as a shadow of the past, but as a beacon for the future. Elijah placed a hand on her shoulder, voice soft but sure. This is just the beginning, Ariel. But now you carry the truth and hope. In the quiet reflection that followed, Ariel understood the lessons learned, that even in the darkest of secrets light could break through, and that forgiveness and courage could heal wounds thought eternal. With a hopeful heart, she looked ahead, ready to face whatever came next with open eyes and unyielding spirit, a moving conclusion to a chapter of family drama and emotional conflict, and the promise of a new dawn filled with possibility. The story wasn't just about survival, it was about transformation, resilience, and the power of truth to illuminate even the deepest shadows.